So one of the things I absolutely pisses me off is bad SEO advice or SEO advice that's disingenuous and it's really not meant to help people do SEO, but it's more meant to get people to buy something from the person who's providing a supposedly expert SEO advice. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and debunk some of the SEO advice I just heard someone spew on YouTube. Out of respect for this person and just also because I don't want to start a war, all I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio of what this guy is saying and then debunk it for you and tell you why this does not work and why this is just a waste of your time so that you don't spin your wheels when you're doing SEO and you actually do invest your time and effort in real SEO and not in some supposed framework that has not been proven to work and some kind of rudimentary SEO tactics that Google no longer even cares about. And it's just a waste of your time. So I'll go ahead. I'll play the video. Apparently, this guy promises that you can 10x your traffic by just following these tips. Okay. So I'll play with the tip number one and I'll play the introduction a little bit because I don't want to get a copyright strike. And then I'll tell you why it does not work. Okay. So here's number one.
Told you that you can see real SEO results without waiting 6 months. You want to know how? Well, let me show you exactly how you can 10x your website traffic in just 30 minutes using the 3-step SEO framework. My client used.
All right. I'm going to turn up the volume over here.
I told you that you can see real SEO results without waiting 6 months. Would you want to know how? Well, let me show you exactly how you can 10x your website traffic in just 30 minutes using this 3-step SEO framework. My client used this exact method to increase his traffic by 10 times last month without spending a dime.
All right. So 30 minutes of work will 10x your traffic. That's the promise over here. And his client did it. So his client spent 30 minutes on 10xing their traffic. And I'm betting that client used his framework for which they paid a lot for. And now he's giving that to you for free so that you can use it to 10x your traffic in 30 minutes of work. But it does not work. Okay. Now we'll go into it. So let's get to tip number one. It's like a 15-minute video. I have to scrape.
Perfect. Google still needs to know what your page is actually about, and that's where your title tag and your H1 tag come in. Your title tag reinforces with Google what your page is about. So many local businesses I see had their title tag set to the word home because that was the default in the website builder. This is very confusing to Google. You will almost always rank first for a search of your title tag, so make sure it's what you want to rank for. In your H1, this reinforces what your page is about. If your H1 doesn't match the search intent, Google won't trust your content.
All right. So tip number one is you've got to have an optimized title tag and you've got to have an optimized H1 because if you don't have it, Google will not trust you. Okay. So that's his claim. The problem is that I have ranked websites as of late, as in past 2-3 years, where the homepage said home on it, did not have an H1. And the reason for that was because it was a corporate site. I didn't want to go through the whole corporate hierarchy to try and make changes to the page or to pages because there are multiple websites owned by the same business. And so I went ahead and just did some other stuff on the website, which I knew would work. The page still had home on it. Doesn't rank with home on it. So what Google essentially does is Google rewrites the title tag. It rewrites the meta description. If there is not a title tag, if there is not a meta description, Google will provide you with one, okay? So in other words, you have the right to remain silent. And if you choose not to, it can be used against you, okay? Then the same thing, that's where Google comes in. So Google uses its AI to rewrite. So even if you put in a highly optimized title tag, there's no guarantee that Google is going to use it. You can use a highly optimized H1, but people are not going to see the H1 until they get onto your website and figure out what's it about, okay? So in some cases, I even seen Google rewrite the H1 if it's part of the search, all right? So if you're ranking, you're taking, I'm going to change the H1, I'm going to take the title, and it's going to 10x your traffic. That's not going to work. What it does help with is it helps with positioning your page. So when you're trying to position your page in SERPs and you're selling, let's say, water heaters, then you don't want your page to say football club. Okay. But it does not have to say water heaters for sale. It does not have to say the best water heaters. It does not have to say any of that. It just needs to you just need to position that page correctly. And the title tag, it can be relevant to that page. The H1 can be relevant to the page. And that's all you need because Google is rewriting these. So don't spend too much time on this crap.
Paragraph, your title tag, and your H1. You can give Google exactly what it needs to move your page higher. Now, even if you nail these three elements, there's still one final piece that determines whether you stay stuck or you start climbing the rankings. Let me show you that critical third part. Have you ever searched for something at Google and noticed a pattern in the search results? For example, if you go into Google and you search black dress, every single result is an e-commerce page. The results for this search are shopping. Well, that means if you write a blog article about black dresses, you're never going to rank. Why? Because Google already knows what people searching for this item want. They want to buy a black dress, not to read.
Right. So what he's saying is you have to match the intent of the page. And he doesn't even know the term. Can't even use the term intent because he doesn't know about it. And so what he's saying is that if someone searches for black dress, they're looking to buy a black dress, which is why an e-commerce store will rank. Here's the problem. If you search for black dress, and there are 10 stores that are ranking for black dress, and you add, let's say, black dress in your title tag, and in your description, and in your H1, and your pages are selling black dresses, you're not going to instantly rank because you're not going to outrank those 10 competitors that are ranking there for the past year or so, okay? You're not going to dislodge them right away. It's not going to happen just because you reposition your page. You might stand a higher chance of having it in maybe an industry where it's not as competitive, but this is not how it works. You're not going to 10x your traffic doing it. Not only is this bad SEO advice, but this is bad SEO, all right? Because positioning your page to match the search intent is a lot more than just doing a Google search and seeing what's ranking. What you need to do is you figure out how's your website positioned, and within the ecosystem of how your website is positioned, how is each page matching the intent of the search, okay? So if your website is a blog and you're just trying to rank for black dress, and so you create a page and put a whole lot of black dresses on it and make it look like you're selling it, it's not going to work, okay? Google is not that stupid anymore. In some cases it is, but in this case it does not work, and we've tested this. So again, bad SEO advice.
And create a website that's similar but better. You can't be completely different. Outliers just don't rank on Google. That's how its data-driven search algorithm works. It knows what people, on average, want for any given search. And this is the final optimization that you need to make. Because even if your title tag, H1, and first paragraph are perfect, if your content doesn't match search intent, you're never going to rank. So let's put this all together. Let me show you how to use these three key elements that control your ranking. Now, those elements are number one, your first paragraph. Answer the searcher's question immediately. Number two, your title tag and your H1 tag. Make sure they're clear, keyword focused, and aligned. And third, finally, search intent. Look at what's already ranking and make sure your content follows the right format.
All right. So number one, this one probably missed when I scrubbing through the video, was it like the first paragraph should answer the person's question. Yes, that is true. That is something that I've been saying for a very long time, but that is even no longer relevant. Okay. So even if your first paragraph does not meet the searcher's intent or does not answer the question, Google will extrapolate from it. Okay. Google will extrapolate that from your data and provide that person searching with an answer all within SERPs. So that is not going to help you rank. All right. And especially not help you rank if you have a whole bunch of competitors that have been outranking you for years. So you can do that, but you're not gonna kill it with just doing that. You're not gonna 10x your traffic by just doing that, okay? Again, this is just pointless SEO advice. I strongly recommend people do not follow this type of stuff. Don't waste your time on this type of stuff. Google has evolved a great deal. This would have been relevant maybe 10 years ago it's no longer relevant. Don't spend your time, your money on stuff like this. It does not work. What you should be focusing on is, well, one, instead of focusing on your title tag so much and stressing out over it, and stressing out over answering the question within the first line of your website and all of that stuff, focus on number one, positioning your website correctly. All right. See if that niche, look at all the websites that are ranking in the top 10 in your niche and see if your website was positioned accordingly. Okay. So if you run a consultation, you should have a website where people land on the landing page and there's a way to book a consultation with you. Okay. Not loads and loads of content. And then for it should be a little about your business. It should be a little about you, how you can help people. So it should not be always about you, but a little bit about you and then how you can help people. Now, similarly, if you're selling water heaters online, you will check, all right? So are all 10 competitors in the search e-commerce stores? If they are, create an e-commerce store. Don't waste your time and effort in creating a blog. Don't waste your time and effort in tons and tons of content. Create an e-commerce store. You don't need to outdo them in terms of design. You do not need to outdo them in terms of low speed. What you need to outdo them in is in terms of how you position the website, your prices, your technical SEO, and your internal linking. You do that correctly, you will 9 out of 10 times outrank your competitors. So there you have it, folks. I just gave you the framework to connect your website traffic. Let me know in the comments below what you think of SEO advice like this. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Happy ranking.